Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on and welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. A little bit of a different video for you this week. Cast your minds back to the beginning of the pandemic. What was it, like 5-6 years ago now, something like that? We made a video where we offered our support to any local dive shop in South Florida that would have us, that wanted a little bit of free marketing. And we said we'd come to your shop and feature your products and services and have a chat with your staff and just generally make a video for you that we would release on this platform and give you guys some free coverage when, you know, local dive shops are kind of struggling with the pandemic. Well, only one dive shop actually took us up on that offer. So a couple of weeks ago, my wife, Karina, and I packed all our dive gear into our truck and hit the road, crossing the great state of Florida to visit with Adventure Outfitters in Tampa. Beautiful family-run dive shop on the Gulf Coast, and we got in what would be our first Gulf Coast dive experiences. But what kind of value can a film like this offer you, my viewership, the people I make films for? It would be really easy for me to drive to Tampa and just shoot an advert for Adventure Outfitters, but that doesn't really serve you guys. So instead, I decided to approach this film from the point of view of what happens behind the scenes at a family-run dive center. Now, I will warn you, this film is going to run kind of long because the owners and crew made so many valid points. I had a real hard time editing it down. So what I've done is in the description of this video below, there are all the questions that I ask the owners and staff at Adventure Outfitters and a timestamp. So if you want to skip ahead and see certain pieces of the film, you can do so. But do stay tuned to the end because there's some quality blooper reels. Enjoy the film.
Adventure Outfitters, Kelsey speaking. How may I help you?
So ladies and gentlemen, here I am at Adventure Outfitters in Tampa. These guys have very kindly invited me to cross the great state of Florida and come and get some golf diving done. We were supposed to be out on the boat this morning already. Weather has delayed action, but we're hoping to get out this afternoon. And if we do, I will put the footage at the end of this video, of course. But for now, I'm gonna go down the line and have you guys introduce yourselves and what you do.
Hey, I'm Alex. I'm one of the owners, instructors, gear technicians here. Been diving for 15 plus years. Still doing it.
Fantastic. What agencies do you teach? What courses do you teach?
I teach for PADI, I teach for INTD and TDI, SDI. Teach everything from free diver to close grip rebreather. Still do a lot of open water stuff, and then underwater scooter, D.S.D.O procedures, advanced nitrox.
Hi, I'm Anna, and I'm one of the owners and instructors. I teach PADI, and I love teaching everything from snorkeling up through assistant instructor.
Hi, I'm Jenny. I do a lot of things. I do everything from event planning to accounting, to the website, to the social media, to teaching, to working the store, to also I teach everything from snorkeling all the way to like advanced at this point.
I'm Kevin. I'm one of the dive masters here at Adventure Outfitters. Soon to be instructor. Unfortunately, with the COVID-19, my IDC was delayed a little bit, so I'll be heading down shortly to do my IDC hopefully at the end of next month. I'm active duty still. I retire in about 18 months. And I want to do this as a profession when I get out of the military and retire, especially here at Adventure Outfitters. I found my home.
Perfect.
We stay in South Tampa and be a scuba diving professional in my retirement.
The first thing when I walked into the shop this morning is amazing organization. My OCD gene was so happy. When I came in, everything's like so nice and tidy and organized, and that just makes me so happy. Who's responsible for that?
I think
Everyone
Jenny and
looks at
I
Jenny. Everyone looks at
Yeah.
Jenny. That's so good.
It's both of us.
Both of us.
It is.
How do you guys decide what brands you want to carry in a retail environment like that?
All of our brands have been tried and true for us. We're the ones that go out and try new products. And long time ago, we decided if this is what we're diving in caves and caverns and, you know, deep technical dives, even just recreational dives, then this is what we want our students to dive as well.
We cherry
So,
pick everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's important.
It is, because you can't carry, and I think most people don't know this, you can't carry every brand, every model, right?
Right.
It just doesn't work that way from a feasibility point of view. So it's as important kind of to select what you don't sell as well as what you do sell.
Absolutely.
But that point about, you know, testing everything is really, really important. Tell us about like all the different functions that you guys have as a shop besides the retail.
Yeah, it's a multi-piece puzzle, really. I mean, you got to have all these different parts, especially in different areas, you know. So we've got to do the gear servicing, we got to do the instruction, we got to do the retail part as well. But they all supplement each other. I mean, if you don't know the product on the wall and you can't sell it, you can't service it either. Really. And then if you don't know your local area with the different dive sites, you're not getting people to try different types of gear, try different types of diving, and really kind of foster their passion.
Yeah, absolutely. So you guys do retail, you do service, you do classes, you already mentioned instruction and so on. Dive travel as well?
Yeah, we do a lot of local dive travel. So they will come with us to a half-day dive trip, and we tell them all the entire dive plan. We show them the hazards, what they're going to see, you know, what kind of
we have a dive master
wetsuit that they need. So then they can go to those local dive sites by themselves with their buddies.
Yeah.
So we teach them how to go to certain places like the fossil.
We do a Venice Beach shore
the
dive
fossil.
with the fossils and shark's teeth. We do a lot of spring diving. We do a lot of like kind of unique places. Like there's this really cool place called Hospital Hole, has a really cool story. So like a lot of people don't know about these places until they like do some research, and we kind of want to introduce it to them safely. We don't want to have a bunch of people going to depths that they've never been before, right? So we make sure it's appropriate for the certification level. We also make sure that we provide assistance for it. You know, we provide equipment for it. So like if they're at Venice, they get a flag float with their dive.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that they're safe. So that's like the primary goal.
Yeah, so that's a big part of it, right? Familiarization. We bang on about that on the channel all the time. Like if you're going to dive in an area where you've never dove before, the best thing you can do is drop into your local dive shop and ask for local advice, right? And find out, because they're the people that know wherever you are. Here in Tampa, you know your area, you know your dive sites, right? And that's really the best thing you can do. So that's awesome to hear. So Jenny, we were emailing backwards and forwards to set up this video, and one of the things I really took away from what you were saying about the shop and how you guys operate is building that sense of community, and that when somebody comes in, you don't just sell them a product and off they go and you never see them again. What kind of events and plans do you make to sort of encourage that participation?
Yeah, so I think one of the big misconceptions of the dive community is that it's not for everybody. They think it's, oh, you know, I'm claustrophobic, or, you know, I'm not hardcore enough, or
I'm afraid of sharks.
Yeah, I'm afraid of sharks. We get that all the time. And the honest truth is diving is for everybody. And I think that sort of like old school mentality is kind of going away. So the cool thing is it's really invited us, since we've gotten rid of that mentality completely within our shop, it's kind of invited more people to come in.
That's awesome.
And so we clean up 4 piers in the area. It's just a cleanup dive. It's really cool, and we've actually like started working with a lot of groups because of it. So we actually now work with the Eckerd Marine Science Club.
Awesome.
We work with
Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful.
Keep Tampa Bay Beautiful is the one that helped us start our cleanups.
Yeah, and on that sense of community then as well, you guys also work with veteran associations, is that correct?
Yes, I'm a vet, and my husband's retired military, and he still works at MacDill Air Force Base. So we work very closely with the outdoor rec community there, and they will subsidize dive instruction for their soldiers and employees.
Oh, that's very
So
cool.
we do that. We have classes through them that
And
we
their
give them
families,
and their families 2 to 3 times a year.
Right, and then there was also some involvement, I remember you saying in the email about you work with a local chamber as well?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know that we actually have a chamber right down our street.
Okay.
It's called the Undersea Oxygen Clinic, and we work with Joe DeTuri. He's retired naval officer, and he teaches a lot of classes with us too, a lot of Navy classes, but he also teaches chamber classes. So it's really cool. You can learn how to operate a chamber and
Yeah.
think about if everybody could operate a chamber,
Yeah.
you know, then we'd be a lot safer if there was a dive accident.
What do you think, in your opinion, as professionals that look at the dive industry from slightly different angles from where you guys are in your careers, what do you think that the average recreational fun diver doesn't understand or doesn't appreciate about, you know, owning, operating a dive shop and being a dive professional?
I guess really you got to be a jack of all trades. You can't just be like, oh, I'm a really good instructor. I'm going to have a great time running a dive shop. I'm just
Yeah.
going to hang out and just teach classes. It doesn't really work that way. You got to be an expert at everything.
Yeah.
So I've, you know, used my tools as previous experience as an electrician. You know, I've also, you know, pretty mechanically inclined. I always wanted to, you know, build things and work on things. So working on regs and being creative sometime, figuring out troubleshooting problems, stuff like that can be pretty difficult.
Yeah.
Or even just mounting stuff on the walls in an old building.
That it takes a lot of training, and that we continue our training. Like we're very passionate about teaching quality students with quality education, and we take a lot of time and pride in that. And so we're constantly learning new things. We're always going to DEMA, and we're always going to the seminars. We take classes continuously.
Yeah.
And try to keep up with, you know, every year what new things come out, and we try to improve our teaching every year. So that's something that I work hard on, is just communicating with students. Everybody comes from different walks of life and diving, and so if I can teach somebody who doesn't quite understand what I'm saying, I really try to get to their level of what they need. And so I'm constantly improving my teaching.
There's obviously, you know, coordination involved. Like if you want to go on a trip, there's weather, of course, like we had this
Always.
morning.
Yeah.
So I'm always the person on the phone, and people probably don't like me because I'm always like, all right, we're gonna have to move this trip.
Yeah.
But then there's also like the other stuff too that's really cool. Like I capture moments at a dive site while someone's like learning how to put their tank together, and then they got that picture and they post it on Instagram, and like, you know, their family gets to see, oh, look, my daughter went shark diving. Like, she's crazy. That's what my mom said about me. And then, so that's just, it's really, really cool to capture like those two moments too.
Yeah.
The other things that people don't think about are like accounting.
Yeah.
Like accounting is like usually a separate job.
Yeah.
But it's not a separate job for me. And it is a lot of work. Also, like the servicing, a lot of people, I don't think people realize how much work goes into what Alex does.
And
with
expertise.
The yeah.
Absolutely.
And how much time and experience it takes to do certain brands and certain types of regs, and then all they can think about is, oh my God, I just dropped $200 on this regulator servicing, and they don't understand, like he took all those little pieces out and like cleaned everything up and then put it all together again.
Yeah. And the years it took to get to the level where you could do that as
Right.
well. You're paying for that learning curve as well, that experience. So
Well, as a dive master, our day starts earlier than everybody else. Absolutely everybody else. You have to start by getting everything prepped. So after Jenny sets up all the great fun and excitement we're going to have for the day, she delivers that to me or one of the other dive masters with whatever instructor we're going to be with. And now comes the legwork. It is, okay, how many students do we have, or how many people we have coming? Oh, we got 5, we're doing 5 dives. It's 25 tanks. What kind of tanks do they need? We're doing air, we're doing nitrox.
What's their size?
What's their size? Or we have somebody that maybe has a little bit of an issue breathing heavy. Okay, we might grab them a bigger tank. And we try to adjust that because we want everybody to have a great experience when they're out there enjoying their
Yeah.
dive. So once we get those and we start filling those tanks, that could take hours. I mean, it takes hours. I mean, somebody thinks you just hook it up and just jam on the air and it just fills them real quick. No, that would obviously get hot. And it takes, 5, 10, 15 minutes to properly fill a tank, depending.
Yeah.
And to mix nitrox properly, also something else. It takes time.
yeah.
And you have to do it slowly. It has to be done correctly, and it takes time. So after we get all that set up, then it's the loading the vehicles, getting the vehicles to the dive site location, hauling the gear in to the dive site location, and you have students showing up with their gear. Hopefully it's in good working order. But you don't have good working order. You hear O-rings flying, or somebody saying, oh my God, I forgot this, or I don't have my boots, or oh my gosh, these fins, and they're like their fin strap is literally falling apart. So we all have save a dive kits. Every single one of us
Huge
has save a
save-a-dive
dive
kits.
kits. And
extra
they're
gear, extra regs.
absolutely, and they're
Yeah.
those big save a dive kits, not this little teeny little package.
No,
It's
The whole
boot
thing.
straps, it's extra boots, it's masks, it's fins.
For every
and
brand,
for everything
you know.
you could possibly think of,
Every
and size.
Yeah.
You can think of, and just
Yeah.
doing all that stuff, hauling the gear, get everything ready, and then you have to make sure everybody makes it back. So once again, then you have the falling in line with you have your instructor, how you're going to run it. If you have 3 or 4 over here, or we'll separate the groups based on strengths and weaknesses, and you'll have those groups together. We talk about that and convey how we're going to initiate and complete that dive.
Yeah.
And then get everybody up safely. And everybody leaves and disappears, and they're gone. And then it's back to the shop, rinsing gear, getting the tanks ready, and everything, because it's all going out, most likely, the next day.
I'm really passionate about making sure that our profession is seen as a profession and not as sort of a side project hobby, you know, oh, you just like diving, so you became an instructor. No, it's what I chose to do for a living, and I make money doing this. Now, you get people like Kevin here who started as a customer, is that right?
Yes.
And then he comes up through the ranks and he's like, hey, I like the shop, I like the people, and I want to become a professional, and this is going to be my transitioning career. This is what I'm going to become. What advice do you have for people like that?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you got to be professional, and you also got to be willing to listen. Everyone thinks they're a really good diver, and there are a lot of really good divers out there, but we got to check ego at the door, because it's all about the customer at the end of the day. And every dive shop has a little bit different culture, every different dive operation, every site is different. So you really got to be one to be able to listen to the customer, but also listen to the employers and see how do they teach their classes, what's their style, and then incorporating into that, and then even maybe making it better. But also you have to kind of listen ahead of time and see how they do things, because they've been doing it that way for a little bit and it works. And then treating the customer base from that specific area.
Yeah, so come in humble and know that you've still got a lot to learn, for sure. Yeah,
Absolutely.
For you, Anna.
We make sure that each of our instructors do know our dive culture. Like, we feel like we're a dive tribe, and it's like Alex said, it's all about the customer and their thoughts, their feelings, their skills. So we don't like instructors talking about themselves, because nobody cares about us. They don't care about our dives. You know, it's all about them. We want them to have a good experience. And then we have them practice. We have them do lots and lots of advanced classes, Discover Scuba classes. And it's only then, when they've completely feel confident, then we'll let them teach other specialty courses and things like that. But you really do need to pay your dues.
Yeah.
You really do, to become a professional instructor.
One of the things in researching for this video that I found unique in my experience of dive centers all around the world is the fact that you guys have such a range of diving that you can offer to your guests, from saltwater, freshwater, boat diving, shore diving. You do the cleanup dives, you've got springs, caves, you can do tech. How do you feel that benefits the shop from, you know, an economic point of view and also from a customer service point of view?
Well, we customize all of our trips for our students and our divers. So a lot of times customers will come in and say, hey, I've never been to Devil's Den, or I've never been to Manatee Springs. I'm like, okay, let's set up a trip. And so we customize it. So whatever our customers want, we kind of give them. So we just kind of base a lot of our trips based on their interest. Like we said earlier, sometimes if people get motion sickness, they can't go in the Gulf on a boat, so they want to go do a spring dive, or we start them off in a spring in a nice little controlled environment. Florida's a long, skinny state, but it has a lot of opportunities. We have Venice shore diving, so they get experience diving in salt water, but it's nice and shallow, so they can start off there first. We've got Rainbow River, which we dive all the time. It's a collapsed cave, so we teach a lot about the geography of Rainbow River. We've got the springs. We have Key Largo. We go to Key Largo every year. We go to Jupiter every year. We go to West Palm. We do Denton Lake, which is a training lake. We've got the Gulf. We go anywhere from 7 miles out to 55 miles, so we get the depth.
Yeah.
So we customize all of our trips for students.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a huge range. How many dive sites would you say you regularly go to?
Regularly, probably, I don't know, 25.
Okay.
I mean, we really lucked out in this area because you're a couple hour drive from thousands of dive sites.
Yeah.
And then you couple that with, you know, a big passion for diving. We'll dive anywhere. So we just went and checked out all the different sites, and we like them all. So we try to bring that passion to everybody else.
Perfect.
And that kind of led us
every
to like,
different site.
oh, well, we've seen what Florida has to offer, so now we want to go travel the world. So
There you
we
go.
try to do like we try to do one international trip a year. Obviously this year has been kind of tough with that.
Same with us.
You
Yeah,
know,
everything got
but-
cancelled.
Yeah. But we've really enjoyed like a few different places. We've gone to Roatan, we've gone to Bonaire. We usually do the cenotes in Mexico every year, which is really, really unique.
Very cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Where are you going next year? Give it a plug.
Well, this year it was supposed to be Turks and Caicos, so I think it's going to be Turks and
Roll
Caicos
that
next
over.
year.
Yeah.
Yep, we're gonna roll it
Throw
over.
another
Awesome.
Bonaire trip too. That'd be nice.
we'll
Yeah.
do a tech Bonaire trip. That would be awesome.
Excellent. So one of the big things I'm trying to do with this channel right now is give advice to people who are thinking about starting scuba diving, because I know that you guys are as passionate as I am about making new divers and growing the sport in general. And the only way we can do that is making new divers, right, and bringing new people in. What other advice would you give them if they're thinking about starting out in that sport?
Just comfort in the water in general is a big one. You know, you got to be honest with your abilities and your skills in the water. If you're scared of drowning or scared of claustrophobia, then being more comfortable helps. So maybe go out, do some laps, swim, try snorkeling. One benefit we do provide though is we do smaller classes to begin with. So you got 6 people or less. So you have a lot more opportunity to work one-on-one with an instructor. But maybe if you do have not a very good comfort level in the water, maybe working on that, or even doing a private class, whether it's one-on-one with an instructor that can really tailor the class to your needs is a good one.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys do private classes?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, fantastic. Anna?
You can start off with a Discover Scuba just to see if you really are interested in it and if it's for you. We started off with a small class and then we go into the pool. We teach you a little bit about the gear. We teach you a couple skills, and then you just get to play in the pool. We throw in a bunch of toys. You get to retrieve them and have fun. And if you like that, then we can start you with a class. One of the things that we do offer is that if it takes you more time to learn, that's okay. We don't rush people. So if somebody needs a second or third or fourth pool session, we give them that, you know. And so you don't have to get certified in 3 days. We don't want people to feel like they're being rushed. We want them to master each level.
So guys, if people want to come and dive Tampa and they want to come dive with Adventure Outfitters, how's the best way they can get hold of you?
Oh, there's so many different ways. They can go to adventuredampa.com and see our website. We're Adventure Outfitters on Facebook, Twitter. We've got our phones. The best way actually is to either call us on our shop phone, or text us, or email us, or
just stop on
call,
by. I'd like to meet you.
Call our
Absolutely.
cell phones. Call our cell phones. We're 24/7.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. I will make sure that the links to Adventure Outfitters are in the description of this video below. So be sure to check them out if you're in the Tampa area. I 100% vouch for these guys. They are passionate about all the same things I'm passionate about when it comes to customer service and quality instruction. So check them out. Links in the description below. Guys, it's been great chatting with you. Should we go diving? What do you think?
Let's go see the golf.
Done. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my first dives off of the Gulf Coast of Florida, and I just want to say a huge thank you to Adventure Outfitters for inviting us to come dive with them. Really appreciate it. Such a fun day. We got really lucky with the weather. We literally had a tiny little gap where we could dash out and get dives done, and all the crew piled in, and it turned into like a staff day out. And I think that they had fun as well. It's so important when you're a dive professional, particularly at a busy shop like they are, that you make time to do fun dives and maintain the passion for the sport. So it was great diving with you guys, and I'm going to say this right now and put it on record. Highly recommended. Fantastic dive shop. If you're in the Tampa area, check out Adventure Outfitters. As I said in the video, all the links to those guys are in the description of this video below. I also have to say, because YouTube asks me to, that this is not a sponsored video in any way, shape or form, and no money changed hands. Adventure Outfitters invited me to come diving, and we went diving. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. And until next time, my name's James. This was your Divers Ready video for this week, and I'll leave the last words to the crew at Adventure Outfitters.
Dive safe, dive often.
Yeah, we can go diving now. Yeah.
I can't. I don't want. I'm too nervous. I can't talk.
You did great.
Lights are always so bright.
Oh yeah, they have to be.
Oh god.
Starting diving, and I know that you guys are as passionate about as I. See, even eyeballs up. Let's start that again.
One person said they have no product, no inventory.
That's BS. And I'll make sure that's shown in the video.